شاركنا في دعم ومساندة أهالي فلسطين من خلال التبرع على الحسابات التالية: كتفنا في كتف أهلنا في فلسطين.
Welcome back. And as the whole Islamic world is preparing for celebrating Eid al-Adha, and pilgrimages are taking their steps on ascending Mount Arafat, and people are rejoicing together to prepare themselves for the festivities of Eid al-Adha, we cannot forget what's happening inside Gaza and the genocidal crimes that are committed against the innocent civilians, women and children, and the residents of Rafah and Gaza inside the Palestinian territory by the Israeli occupation. And there, of course, every day when we wake up, it's another crisis. And following up with the latest situation inside Gaza, as we are about to witness and celebrate Eid al-Adha tomorrow, we have with us live over the phone Mr. Abdul Rahman, the political and economic analyst and journalist at the same time. Good morning, Mr. Abdul Rahman, and happy Bayram to you.
Well, good morning to you. Happy Bayram to you and the dear viewers.
Right, thank you so much. It's a real pleasure to have you. Of course, it's so sad that tomorrow is Eid al-Adha and Greater Bayram, and people are rejoicing in peace together, while our brothers and sisters in the Gaza Strip are suffering from the genocidal war and bombardment and starvation and the killing of children and women every day. Could you shed some light over the latest situation in Gaza, please?
Well, I'm sure that it's a feeling that maybe we have never experienced before. To feel that on one side we should celebrate such a holy occasion like the Bayram, and at the same time there is a nation that is being exterminated from the face of the earth as a repeated historical crime that can be added to the same series of crimes with the same measures and the same fingerprints of those who committed almost the same crimes against the Arabs in the Arabic occupied land, in the colonized countries and nations, all through the history, by the British, by the American, by the French, by the Nazis. We are witnessing, I believe, this is the most horrifying war crime being committed in front of our eyes, being recorded, each and every single crime. Maybe that's what makes it different from other historical crimes that maybe were more brutal than this, committed by the West, who trying to convince the world that the West is the mother of civilization and democracy and freedom and human rights. This is all a big lie and a false media that has covered the eyes of the nations for more than 100 years. Now the curtains have fallen, and the support, the Western support, and other powers and other countries, not just the West, other countries who are supporting the Zionist aggression against the Arabic occupied lands, are taking the same blood on their hands, and they are accomplices in those crimes.
Right.
I'm sure that we are sympathizing with the nation, our Arabic nation in Palestine.
Right. Mr. Abdul Rahman, when questions are being set on the table, if the international community, if the world powers are intervening. I mean, when I talk about world powers, I talk about the United States, the sole and primary supporter and backbone who is supporting Israel and all its genocidal crimes. People ask about reaching a ceasefire, especially at the holy days, and the whole Muslim world and Palestinians are expecting, they're supposed as human beings, according to their own religion, to enjoy Eid al-Adha in peace. So the president, the US president, would then come and talk again about the repeated story of a ceasefire that could be happen in exchange for freeing of hostages. We ceasefire if you free the hostages, but still the genocidal crimes are continuing. The starvation is continuing. The bombing of hospitals and schools and mosques and churches is continuing. Nothing is changes with the silence of all the countries that an international community also is watching in silence with their mouths zipped. So how do you read this situation?
Well, let me tell you that there is a growing feeling and a growing understanding that the latest ceasefire plan given by the U.S. Is only a cover-up for Israel to continue its crime to the last drop of blood of a Palestinian living soul on the occupied land. The plan seems to be gathering all the points that the whole world is agreeing upon, which is ceasing the fire and withdrawing from the occupied land. But it didn't have one single line about urging and making and forcing Israel to be committed to such plan. So it's gathering. It's more than a gathering of good ideas and good intentions, but on the ground is totally something else. Totally something else. I believe that the decision of ceasing fire is between the political opinion and the military opinion in Tel Aviv, and there is that huge crack and this huge conflict between the two sides. One side wants to end the war because, which is the military side. It wants to end the war because soldiers are running from the field and getting back home with what's so-called what previous shock and what comes next after they have witnessed how tough the Arabic fighter is on the battle when he faces his enemy face to face. That's why the soldiers are running from the army right now in Israel. On the other hand, there is the political leaders who want to make benefits and to cover up their failure and their own huge mistakes they have committed, and they made their own army pay the most huge price since it was created as a terroristic army. That army totally revealed to each and every member in this world, each and every citizen in this world, how weak it is and how brutal it is, and how he covered up his weakness with more brutality, with more killing, with using the killing machines. How coward is the Israeli soldier against the Arabian fighter when he faces it face to face, not hiding before tanks and not hiding before artillery and not hiding before walls like the Holy Quran have mentioned since more than 1,400 years. They are hiding behind the killing machines, achieving false histories by massacring more than 200,000 of civilians. This conflict, when this conflict is over and reaching a shore, then we can find an end to this aggression. As well as, although we are witnessing the massacres of a whole generation, let me say, by all broken hearts, a whole generation is being wiped from the ground in the Arabic occupied land. But at the same very time, there is a new generation is being born with the taste of blood and revenge, and seeking justice, not just hollow revenge, but seeking justice for the crimes the parents and the brothers and the mothers and the fathers have suffered and witnessed. That generation will be the liberator of Palestine, inshallah.
Right. Mr. Abdul Rahman, you know, the problem is it's not because they are unable to reach a ceasefire plan, but the problem is that they are identifying the situation inside Gaza to two sides. I mean, and identifying it as a war. Well, it's not a war. It's ethnic cleansing. It's a collective punishment. It's a total plan of eradicating a whole race of Arabs, of Palestinians from the face of earth. They don't want them to exist. They want to overtake the whole land. So there is no two sides. There is only one genocidal, criminal, if you could excuse my language, and there is a victim who is being starved, who is being bombed, who is being mutilated, the bodies, they can't even be buried with dignity. So the identification of the situation is wrong from the start, and that's why they can't reach a solution. Do you agree or no?
Totally agree, literally agree. And this is exactly the meaning that Mr. President Abdul Fattah al-Sisi has mentioned. The only Arabian leader that mentioned the same concept.
Exactly. That came on the, during the phrase by President Abdul Fattah al-Sisi.
That's right. He has described the scene as it is, as a naked truth, without any diplomatic word or to be hiding behind false feelings. He made it clear to the whole world that this is a genocide beyond, even more beyond just revenge after the operations October 7th. We need for the world now, for the nations around the world, for to be heard by the regimes in the Western world especially. And we need for the regimes in the whole world to stand by Egypt side by side with the true line of honesty and defending what's left of humanity in this world, and to support those who are still living on the occupied land and the land under siege. Extermination is the same crime that this is the only description for this crime. And extermination is the very same crime that the British soldiers have committed, the French soldiers have. I'm talking about the colonization that is still living in the veins of the Western kingdoms and republics, with the same heritage of blood, of that genocidal look, that feeling that they are another race different from other humans, which is exactly the opposite. They are the lowest race on the planet, and they are committing the most historical, brutal crimes that they will all be punished eventually. And I'm sure that this is the last colonization on the earth, and when it will be over, justice will prevail. And the Egyptian situation and the Egyptian soldiers and the Egyptian historical stand with the occupied land will stand and remain for generations to be remembered. Only Egypt that has suffered and bled for the Palestinian cause and on all the Arabic causes. And we are continuing with each and every power we have and each and every line each and every statement we issue, each and every effort we do through our own officials and leaders, starting by Mr. President Abdul al-Sisi and our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Sameh Shukri, and other officials, and we are using all the powers we have, and we will achieve. This is a tough battle. This can never be ended in a week or two, or a month or two, or a year or two. Let me be frank. This is a long battle. This is a long war. And justice will prevail in the end, inshallah.
Hopefully, of course, justice will take its course. But then this will take us to the Jordan Summit, a summit that is held in Jordan, was held in Jordan, and that gathered world countries to be able to sort out the situation. And of course, Egypt, as usual, is taking the lead role and try to unify the sides and to unify and create a case of solidarity to be able to reach a solution for the Palestinian crisis. If you like to shed light over the summit that is held in Jordan, and do you think it's going to succeed, or it succeeded rather, in continuing or adding to the first successful summit that was held in Egypt earlier at the beginning of the war?
Well, I believe that that summit has just was held right afterwards the success of issuing the two historical resolutions by the Security Council, which urges Israel to stop the aggression and withdraw from the occupied lands in Gaza Strip and in Rafah. It came to express the Arabian support for such important action, international action that has been taken, and of course supporting the good side in the American plan to maybe we can have the leap of faith and the shred of hope that this war will be ended soon. But we need to revive the memories of the Arabic leaders. Mr. President has declared it clear. We need to unite our own forces as a united army. If we did have that army right now, like Mr. President have called, maybe 10 years from now, we wouldn't have been through that catastrophe and this tragedy we are witnessing right now. On the other hand, for the Palestinians, it's time to forget their own agendas, their own titles, their own any identity except for being an Arabian on the occupied land. Only by this way of unity, by gathering around the Palestinian Liberation Organization, which is this direction is supported by Cairo since years before, to unite the Palestinians, to unite the Arabs in the occupied land. This is the only how the Palestinians can achieve their victory finally.
Right. On this note, of course, Mr. Amr Rahman, the political and economic analyst, would like to thank you so much, and you have a good day. And we're going to go to a short break, and we'll come to continue the breakfast show, so stay with us.